I was fully non-compliant today. Hey, this is Tracy with Tracy Talks. Welcome. That statement of being non-compliant sounds dramatic. It sounds as if I had taken on some big, epic episode, but it really wasn't that epic of a scenario. But it was one of those small little chess moves that demonstrates how much I've grown and where I've come from. This all happened on a Sunday afternoon for Sunday dinner. And I've kind of mentioned this topic before. My mother believes that she is a completely flexible person, that she is not controlling or demanding in any way. However, there are things that she says that sometimes I just go, that's interesting. And today I asked what was on the menu, and she told me. And then I said, what's for dessert? Because in our household, dessert has always been important. And she said, well, I didn't feel like making anything. So I made grape Jell-O with mandarin oranges. And my response was, if you didn't want to make anything, why didn't you let me know? I could have made something. Oh, this is fine, she said. And as everyone was finishing up lunch, I got the Jell-O out of the refrigerator and I got some bowls and everyone had some Jell-O except me. And I don't know if you have a mother whose love language is food and serving food and making sure everybody eats some of everything. But food is my mother's love language. And it is important to her for you to eat her food, whatever it is, whenever she offers it, no matter what time of day, even if it's late at night. There's going to be a part of her that feels rejected if you do not accept her offer of food. And today I wasn't having it. I don't eat Jell-O. I'm not 5. In my mind, it is just pure sugar. And if I'm going to eat something so sugary, I'm going to eat something that I really do want to eat. And so I didn't have any of the Jell-O. And this is one of those moments where if you have a mother like this who expects you to eat the food, you understand the critical nature of not accepting something. But this is also one of those moments where, it seems so small, it seems ridiculously insignificant. But when I look back at so many times in my life, I see this pattern and I see this level of control. And it stems from this, you just have to do this because I'm taking it personal if you don't. I am hurt and I am going to provide a level of guilt and shame because you won't accept and eat my food. And this is like one of those crossroads that I keep coming up against. And I do know people who have this same pattern that I do and who will just take the food just to avoid having to look conflict in the face. Like, just take it, just eat it, just take a bite so you don't have to deal with it. And at some point, it's like, no, this is so much of my conditioning. And it it has been a talking point that I bring up on a continual basis, that how many of us just do the thing that we don't want to do in every cell of our body just to avoid any type of conflict. And it's like, if I had taken the Jell-O, I'm basically saying that my feelings don't matter, what I want doesn't matter, that it's more important for me to do something that I don't want to do as to not hurt someone with their ridiculous standards. Because the Jell-O is not you. I see a separation from you and the Jell-O. You are not one and the same. So why can't you see that as well? I mean, there's times where I would love to say that I have completely separated myself from all of my lessons that I've learned. But this is one of those moments where I had made a conscious effort, and I'm not always perfect and I'm not always 100% on the mark. But with my own kids, I would try to bring it back around to, what do you want? Because we live in a world where so many messages are coming at us that you want this, you need to do this to get this, you need to be this type of person to get this, that you can only be happy if you do this. And we're constantly bombarded by messages of just somebody else has our answers, that there's a coach or there's a product or there's something else out there that we need, that we right now don't know what we need. And the messaging is that we cannot trust what we feel inside. And I would try to reinforce in my kids, what do you want? And even now that they're not small, there's still this hesitation. There's still a moment where I can see that there is a thinking and a pondering of, how do I want to answer this? And how many of us do that? How many of us really try to filter our responses instead of just being honest? Like, I don't care. I don't care what you want. And if I have a difference of opinion, then maybe we can talk about it then, but I don't care. I don't need you to want the same things that I want. I don't need you to do the same things that I do. And I don't need you to like the same things that I like. So today was one of those days where it's like, no, I'm not going to be complicit. I'm not going to just perform and be the good little soldier. And I know some of you may be listening to this going, this is completely ridiculous, that why is this even a topic? But it's in these small moments that we sometimes just kind of gloss over and move over. And we don't realize that we don't show up fully, that it's easy it would have been easy for me to just to say, sure, give me a bite of Jell-O, even though I don't want it. I don't need it. I never think about making this. Like, this is not anywhere on my list of items that I want on a Sunday afternoon was grape Jell-O with mandarin oranges. And that probably comes from going to too many church luncheons on Sunday afternoon when there were numerous different kinds of Jell-Os with everything thrown in them. Like, why? I mean, the 70s was crazy. Like, why are there those ingredients thrown in the Jell-O salad? And why were we eating the Jell-O salad? And I just find it interesting too that at times how we see ourselves in one light, that this person in my life who adamantly believes that they are flexible and easygoing is not. And it comes out in all of these little idiosyncrasies, that we have to do this in this way, we have to do it this way, and all of these little positioning maneuvers, that all of these moments of every single day are controlled in the same way, in the same method, and how there are people who just don't see it. So today, I was the one who turned over the apple cart and was the resistance. And again, some of you may be saying this is ridiculous that this is even a topic. But for some of us who have, for some people like me who have been raised with extremely controlling parents, that it's been a lifelong journey to break free from these patterns of control, and how these moments, these small little moments, have shaped me, have created this person that I am, and how my message is oftentimes wrapped around this bigger topic of being my authentic self. However, in all of the circumstances, in every moment of the day. And if you're like me and you've been raised in an environment that didn't want you to be your authentic self, because the last thing that a controlling person wants to hear is your opinion, your ideas, the things that you think. Like, they don't want to hear that. They want messaging, and they want everyone to follow along in their same pattern of thinking. And how difficult it is for some of us to come along and break that cycle and say, no, I'm not going to do it that way. And just making that declaration can be very difficult and scary. So today, in my cute little dress and my cute little shoes, I was the resistance. Thank you for listening to this episode of Tracy Talks. Remember to rate, review, and subscribe, and share with others who would enjoy listening to this podcast. Friends can find Tracy Talks available on iTunes, Spotify, Substack, and YouTube. Hit me up on Instagram and Facebook at more Tracy Talks. And until next time, we meet again.